Hello everyone and welcome back guys to something a little bit different. Yes, we're finally back on Forza Motorsport 7. It's been a long time since I jumped on this game. And today we're here for the LCR reasonably priced car mini sort of one-off meme event kind of thing. It's pretty simple. C-Class cars, 10 laps around the Top Gear circuit, and we were actually second on the grid for this one. Now, going into it, I honestly wasn't 100% sure whether it was meant to be a super serious race or whether it was just meant to be a bit of fun, but I'm sure this video will probably explain what did end up happening there. We started P2, managed to get into the lead straight away there, but you can see the BMW Isetta on the long run down in towards turn 1 there, went straight up into the lead. We'd gone with the Lotus Elise as we get bullied out through T1 by CK there in the Oldsmobile. We actually had LCR Leopard as well in the Honda S2000 as we head down in towards the next couple of corners of the lap here, trying to look around the outside, but we do just about get the front car across the front of him there, and yeah, we now hold on to P2 of this race there. So a bit of a weird and wonderful wacky start. I mean, we went from the lead down to P3, P4, and then back up into P2 in the end there, and yeah, CK in that Oldsmobile just in front of us. Safe to say, it was about this point where I realised that this wasn't going to be a particularly serious race at the end of the day there. CK just sort of running me off the road as we head down this back straightaway here, and it was a bit of a weird one. It was, you know, brute force versus, you know, poor little car trying to survive in this race there. Just see coming through the flat out section there, and yeah, CK again just trying to put me out into the grass there. We thought about having a look around the outside in towards the final couple of corners there. Leopard's actually going to be able to have a sneak up the inside as we head through the final couple of corners there. CK almost puts him in the tire wall out of the final corner there. We've actually got quite a good drive out of the final turn there. That S2000 really struggling down the straights, the Oldsmobile really struggling through the corners, and we were sort of somewhere in the middle in this one. I mean, you could upgrade the car, you could tune it, everything like that. I basically just bought a Lotus Elise and then put more power in it, to be honest with you guys. So yeah, that was sort of my plan of action for this race. I kind of hopped on 20 minutes beforehand. I thought, yeah, may as well give it a go, see what happens there. Just see more contact between Leopard and CK here as we head onto the second lap of this race here. And it's probably, yeah, just going to be a bit of pot luck, in all honesty, at the end of the day, who does win this one as we head down in towards Hammerhead here. Leopard tries to hold it around the outside there, very late on the brakes there, and then just, you know, just struggling a little bit on the exit of the corner there, and you can just see, hopefully we've got a little bit extra top end over Leopard here. You can see coming down in towards follow through here. Are we going to be able to have a look around the outside? No, we are not this time around. As you can see, though, Leopard actually gets a bit of wheel spin there, and that's going to give us the opportunity right around the outside as we head through the next couple of corners here, down in towards the second to last corner, obviously renowned for being one of the hardest corners on this Top Gear circuit there. Leopard tries to have a look back around the inside there, but we do hold it around the outside as we head down in through the final couple of corners there, and CK just in that bus of an old American muscle car there, just trying to park it through the final couple of corners there. And I mean, he was obviously very quick in a couple of places around this track. There was nothing we could do down the straights there. You can see through the corners we were just so much quicker than him. It really did, you know, there was definitely not much racing respect going on, but I think that was sort of all in the fun of the event. But it was actually a fairly even match between the pair of us as well here as we head out through the next couple of corners here, now onto lap 3 of this race. And are we really going to be able to do anything? You can see up to about 80-90 miles an hour we were actually pretty even, and then yeah, CK would just pull away as we head down in towards Hammerhead once again there. Everyone just trying to, you know, keep it nice and tidy between the white lines. CK actually clips the tire wall there, lucky to get away with that one as we get horrendous understeer on the exit of the corner. That's going to bring Leopard right up towards our rear end once again here. And are we really going to be able to get any sort of run potential? You can just see how slow CK has to take this corner relative to myself and Leopard here. We try to have a look up the inside, perhaps. No, CK is going to slam the door shut on that one there. And Leopard in the S2000 is going to try and look round the outside there. I think we're almost accidentally going to try and box him in towards the final couple of corners of the lap there. He's going to be a bit brave trying to look round the outside of CK here. We were going to try and sneak up the inside, hope we could try and capitalise and run away, but not able to do it this time round. And CK, yeah, once again holds on to the lead of this race there. And I think, you know, Leopard and I were probably taking this a little bit more seriously than CK was. I know actually Leopard wasn't in the party, so I don't think he was aware of how much of this race was just meant to be a bit of a joke. I'm pretty certain he wanted to make a steward's inquiry on someone cutting corners in this race. But yeah, it was just meant to be a bit of a meme event as we head through the next couple of corners, though, trying to muscle CK out of the way. I don't think that's really going to work and our poor little Lotus at least there, but we are going to be side by side as we head out of the corner there. And yeah, just the straight line speed, the raw power of that Oldsmobile just carrying it down in towards the next braking zone once again. We were running about 190 brake in this Lotus. I imagine that thing was probably running in excess of 300-400 perhaps, and yeah, obviously we just had no weight in this thing either there, which was obviously helping us out a fair bit. You can just see down this next straightaway here, we're on the inside there. CK is going to slam the door shut there, actually come completely across me as we head through the corner there, and that's actually going to give him quite a good run on the exit there. Leopard once again is potentially trying to line up something as we head down in towards the next braking zone. I thought, but having a look up the inside of CK, we are actually going to be able to make it work there, and he's going to give us a bit of a punt as we head through the corner there, and then just completely run us off around the outside of the corner there. Not give us the opportunity back onto the track that actually pushes into that tiny little gravel strip as we head now onto the halfway stage of this race there. And still, somehow in this race, CK is holding on at the moment there. I'm not too sure how, and then you can see Leopard once again tries to have a sniff up the inside through the first couple of corners there. We are going to be able to have a look up the inside of CK once again, but he's got the inside for the next corner there. Are we going to be able to have a look right around the outside perhaps? Leopard's trying to make it 3 wide there. We get muscled out on to the grass there, but we do just about keep it on to the road once again there. And yeah, 3 wide down this next straightaway here. We are still on the inside of CK here, so much later on the brakes there, and he muscles us out wide there. We may try to give him the squeeze, hoping he'd bail out a little bit earlier than he did, but not this time around. And yeah, trying to come out onto the back straightaway once again here. And yeah, this was a surprisingly, yeah, like I said, a surprisingly even race, to be honest with you, as we head now down through the next couple of corners here. Are we going to be able to get any sort of run on CK once again? Perhaps we're still all over the back of him. I mean, we've spent most of this race all over the back of him, as a Leopard once again just in the top end bits really does start to struggle there. Around the outside perhaps in towards the final couple of corners. CK is going to give us a squeeze. We're going to get the sim twitch, and that is going to put us out of the little battle just for now though. But luckily Leopard is still all over the back of CK, so hopefully we can try and close back up on these guys nonetheless here over the course of this lap, and it should give us a good indication of how much extra pace we had over CK. Just, you know, just in raw terms of this car, you know, not with that big American muscle car bullying us around the circuit there. As you can see through T1 and T2 there. Just running a little bit deep, and you can see Leopard still trying to have a look up the inside of CK. Not too sure what the track limits are going through there now there. As you can see there, we're still certainly running a little bit wide, you know, trying to use up a bit more of the space than is probably recommended here. But still, you know, we're just trying to hold on at the moment there, and CK has actually built himself up a tiny bit of advantage there. Getting a little bit hot into Hammerhead, but not as badly as Leopard there. He is unfortunately going to drop down in a spin. So that means once again in this race, so it is us that are going to be trying to close down the gap to CK here. As you can see, he's still about 2 seconds up the road, but I mean, we can take follow through pretty much flat out. Just a little bit of a blend there. Unfortunately, we got caught out by the cone. But as you can see now, by this stage of the race, I was starting to get a little bit worried as well, obviously, because what's one of the worrying things about Top Gear and why it's not really a racetrack? Obviously, the fact that it's got a crossover on it. And, I mean, we were taking a lot of time out of some of the guys as well. So I think towards the end of this race, the crossover would come into effect here. And, yeah, hopefully we can try to avoid that for as long as possible. They're setting a 1:20.8 on that lap, though. My new PB by half a second in this race there. And still, you can see just how much time we've closed up on CK there. You can see a couple of the cars trying to go through the crossover as well. It was probably going to be, you know, sort of another lap or two before that was going to start becoming a really, really big issue in this race there. And CK still adopting some interesting track limits as we head through the next couple of corners here. You know, we were trying to keep it just that's yeah, right on the line. As well, they're 7 tenths up now just in sector 1, so definitely 1:19s were possible in this car there. As through Hammerhead, CK trying to open it up as best as possible once again here. Obviously just 3.5 laps to go now of this race, trying to use the cones to, you know, knock off the understeer once again there. And you can see Leopard now, yeah, 6 seconds back unless something catastrophically goes wrong for myself and CK here. And just look at that, car's in the crossover there. Apex is going to get taken out in that one there. We're going to try to look around the outside of CK there. He's going to put me in the wall, and we're just going to be span around there. And yeah, CK is going to be able to run off into the distance once again there. And I spoke about how something could go wrong. Leopard there does get taken out as well in the crossover. So carnage in this race at the moment there. And CK, yeah, put me in the wall. Not quite what I would have wanted in this race, but we have still got 3 laps to go here. And I think CK was going to start waiting up for me a little bit as well there. Because, I mean, there'd been a lack of racing respect, and then there was that in this race here. It was certainly, yeah, quite an interesting one at the end of the day as we head down in towards the first couple of corners once again. Though you can see more cars still coming through the crossover at the moment there. We've got through this time around relatively unscathed, but what is going to happen as we head in towards the next part here? We're just going to try and launch it through the first part there and just trying to stay off the racing line for those guys. So yeah, happy that we've survived for now once again. But yeah, still 2 more laps to go. That's what, 5 more opportunities through the crossover here, obviously including the second half of lap 8. And yeah, we once again, obviously, with CK slowing down a little bit for us as well, we obviously been able to close out that gap once again then. I'm a bit unsure what the track limits are around this Top Gear circuit. You know, there's a couple of weird and wonderful wacky places around this track here. But yeah, still not long to go there. You can see a couple more headlights as we head down through, follow through once again there. And CK firing cones at me as well. They were really trying to open up the track space as best as possible here. You can see down in towards the final couple of corners here. Once again, are we going to be able to close out that gap once more here? You can just see how much more we've got through the corners over that American muscle car there as we head down through the final turn once again there. And yeah, the gap now back down to just 0.6 of a second there. A 1:20.1 in this race. So yeah, the pace was really there, you know, once we started to get some laps hooked together here. But it was obviously just trying to work our way around the American muscle car as we head through the first couple of corners once again here. You can see now all over the back of that Oldsmobile. Luckily, it doesn't look like we're going to get caught out in the crossover anymore here, unless, yeah, something goes catastrophically wrong for someone else. So we'll have to wait and see about that one here. But yeah, we got a lap and a half to really try and make this move work on CK here. I mean, he's basically led from start to finish in this race, and although it's been in interesting circumstances, we'll certainly still try to get him in these last couple of laps. So trying to give him a little bit of a bump as we head through Hammerhead there, as once again just the interesting track limits come into effect once again here. And yeah, you can see heading out now down this back straightaway, CK's just going to be able to pull out a little bit of a margin here, but are we going to be able to try and take much out of him through, follow through? We're going to muscle our way to the inside there. Is he going to try and squeeze me into the wall? He's certainly hinting at it. And yeah, we're not going to try and take that risk once again here. You can see coming down in towards the final couple of corners though. CK now 80 feet in the lead once again there, but just how much later we are on the brakes there. We're once again going to be all over the back of me. I thought about going for a lunge in towards the final corner of the lap here. You can see now we've got a couple of cars just in front of us as well here. We're actually lapping people just 10 laps in to this race here. We've got Apex, I think that is Kez as well, as we head in towards the first couple of corners. We just get stuck on Kez's rear end there. The Oldsmobile really just sort of powering his way through the first couple of corners there. Apex and Kez both opting for Nissans in this race. So around the outside of Kez we go. Are we going to be able to have a look around the outside of CK as well? No, Kez gives us a little bit of a bump as well here. We try to avoid the cones here, and what are we going to be able to do in just half a lap to go of this race there? CK's actually been able to muscle his way up a little bit of advantage in this race. You know, hindsight is a wonderful thing, and perhaps we should have tried, you know, to go with something a little bit stronger there. Taking a bit of, you know, once again trying to use the track limits to our advantage as we head through Hammerhead here. You can see 50 feet now. We got ERL F1 Ben just in front as well here. Are we going to get anyone on the crossover as well? It looks like we got a BMW Isetta there, and well, I think CK's just going to throw it at the radar. We just get muscle out onto the grass of that BMW, having a bit of a bigger effect on myself than CK here. As you can see coming down in towards the final couple of corners though, CK with muscling that BMW into my path. I mean, it was basically just a bowling pin there through the final couple of corners. It is going to be the race victory at the end of the day for the Oldsmobile. They're not quite, I think, what we would have predicted at the start of the race there. But the Lotus comes through for P2 at the end of the day there. And yeah, that was quite a fun little meme race at the end of the day that I wanted to show you guys. I mean, we had the fastest lap by a second near enough over CK there. 3/10 over Leopard as well. So I do think genuinely the Lotus has some good pace around here, but it was never quite able to utilise it at the end of the day there. But thank you all so much for watching this video nonetheless. Do get yourself subscribed if you're new around here and for some reason you want to watch more of these meme races. But yeah, that'll do us for this one, and hopefully I will see you guys next time for another video.